Think you've seen a law show before? Go behind the scenes and take a closer look at the real lawyers of New York.
Parker Wakeman Alonso, how may I direct your call?
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to have a review of what's coming up on your schedules and on your cases. James, you want to update us on the nursing home case?
As you know, the defendants were no pay, with the typical defense of the nursing home resident was old and was going to die anyway, and every single organ in his body was failing. And we put our evidence in at trial, and before the jury can come back with a verdict, they settled the case for 7 figures. And that's what we told them we wanted from the beginning, even though there were no pay. And after we tried it, they paid.
Great.
Very nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Putting your loved one into a nursing home is no small thing. It's a big decision, and I know it's very difficult for families. Sometimes they just feel really guilty that they can't keep their loved one at home. But the reality is, oftentimes at some point, your loved one needs full-time care that you just can't give them at home. So what you're doing is the best thing you can do for them, which is leave them with trained professionals that you really should be able to trust. And that's what you're doing when you place them in a nursing home. Most people try to go take a look at the nursing home, or at least talk with the staff when they bring their loved one there, and they're really trusting those people with their loved one. And it's like one of the most sacred things you can do, right? Leaving your mother or your father or your grandmother or grandfather with really people that you don't know that well, but you trust that they're going to do their job, they're going to do it well, they're going to take care of your loved one. It's no small thing, and I know it's a grueling decision for most families. But once you do it, we really must be able to trust the nursing home to take care of our loved ones properly. If we can't trust them to do that, we're nowhere. And it's really important that they be held accountable for these situations, which are just so common, where a family goes through this grueling decision of putting them in the nursing home, and then the nursing home, for whatever reasons, oftentimes motivated by all the wrong reasons like greed and other things like that, they don't render the care that they should. And you know, it would be most people's preference to keep their loved one at home and take care of them themselves, but they just can't do that. So when they go into the nursing home, it's really important that we be able to trust them. And I'm really glad to be a part of a team that's helping to hold the nursing homes accountable and make sure that they actually do what they've promised to do, so that families can feel comfortable leaving their loved ones in the care of the nursing home.
I guess one particular case is I had the son of a client, well, he's actually the client, where he made a decision to place his mother into a nursing home. And from that day, his mother went downhill. And he felt very guilty about it. And when I picked up on the call, he was really down because he had just found out that his mom passed away. And after the call ended, I really felt bad. But he called me back 5 minutes later, and he says, you know, I was so down, but after you spoke to me, I now believe in faith that someone really understands. And basically, I didn't say much. I was just listening to him. And I gave him the opportunity to get everything that he wanted to say. I guess he really wanted to talk to his mother, which he didn't have a chance. But just, you know, listening to that person, and he was really happy. And I said, oh my God, I made someone's day, and in turn made my day. So that was like really, you know, that was the light of my day.
All right, to begin with, I just took a new case call from a daughter who said her mother's been in this nursing home, and as far as she knows, it's her 5th fall, and they just rushed her over to the hospital and fractured hip. They're doing surgery right now on her.
Okay, the first thing we need to do is advise the family to get the mother out of there, okay? And let's get her to somewhere safe.
And you guys know what's going to happen when we get these records in. you're going to see things crossed out. We're going to see pages missing. We've got to prevent that from happening. So let's use the order to show cause before the court that we've used before, asking the court to make sure that the nursing home doesn't tamper with the records in any way and preserves that evidence so that we can get a complete copy of the client's file.
Okay, and let's get a hold of an expert, so as soon as we get the records, we can have those records reviewed to determine what actually happened here.
I guess we can pull that case we used last week where Judge Harris, he ordered that the records be preserved. So I guess we'll start working from there. You know, we'll go through the file and see what we can use, the same witnesses, experts, similar.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We had a lot of success on that
Right.
case. The judges are really with us in making sure that the nursing homes aren't messing with these records. So let's make that motion again. Let's make sure that we order those medical records right away.
Oftentimes, the family members do not find out about the abuse or the neglect or the injury until well after it happened. A lot of these nursing home residents are incapacitated. They don't have the ability to, transmit to their family members or to tell them, I think I have a huge bed sore on my back, because what's happening is that bed sore is covered up. It's bandaged, okay? And the nursing home resident, the person that's in the nursing home, they're in a gown, they're in their clothes, they're dressed when their family members come to see it. So the family member, in all likelihood, never finds out about that unless the resident can specifically tell them, or after the fact when it's too late. When it's a stage 4 pressure ulcer that's down to the bone, and finally the nursing home administrator calls the family in and says, hey, we have a problem. Oftentimes the family members don't find out about a fracture or a bed sore or the fact that the resident's septic, which means there's an infection throughout their entire bloodstream, until that nursing home resident is shipped off to the hospital. And the hospital calls the family and says, we have a problem. So oftentimes the family member is not aware. And that's why it's very important that the family member takes a proactive role and visits as often as possible, checks the resident's body, to the best of their ability, asks if there's any problems, stays in constant communication with the nurses on the floor, the director of nursing, and just makes themselves known as a concerned family member, who is on the lookout for potential problems. You have to be proactive, and you have to be an advocate for your loved one.
Yeah?
Hey, Melanie, the documents arrived.
Okay, can you have someone bring them back?
I think you're gonna want to come up here. There's kind of a lot.
How much is a lot?
You're probably gonna want to come see this.
All right, I'll be right there.
Okay, bye.
You kidding me?
That's all for us.
You gotta be kidding me.
All right.
Oh man, it's gonna be a long night.
Yeah, let's get everyone together in the conference room in 5 minutes, and we'll formulate a plan to deal with this.
Figure it out.
Okay. Kind of have a problem. The deposition that we've all been working on, we're supposed to get a list of additional documents within no later than 3 days before the deposition. So we're right about there, and we just got delivered a truckload of documents. I know it's late, but I'm going to ask you guys to stick around and help us get through it. Dan, if you can look at the case management orders, I don't think this is the way that this was supposed to go down, and we may have to get in touch with the defendants tonight about the faulty production. And I think as part of that, Matt, take a look at the ESI protocol, because unless there's some good reason to deliver 400 boxes of paper to this office, those documents should have been in electronic format. The rest of you guys, I don't want to lose any time, because we're not going to be able to push this deposition back. So if we can just triage what's in these boxes and figure out if it's new material or if it's just duplicates of what we've had before, that would be a big help. Anybody that sticks around tonight, dinner's on me. If you have other obligations, I get it. I understand. It's fine. But anybody that could stick around, I'd really appreciate it. All right?
All right.
Okay. Thanks. My name is Melanie Mulstock, and I'm the managing attorney of the Mass Tort Department at Parker Wakeman Alonso. A mass tort proceeding is really just a collection of individual single event cases, essentially. At its bare bones, it's really no different than an accident involving a car accident case. You have someone that uses a particular product, for example, if we're talking about a pharmaceutical case, and is injured as a result. The impetus being the ingestion of the drug as opposed to the car accident. In a mass tort type scenario, you have a product that has affected many, many individuals, and what often happens is litigation erupts and claims are filed all over the country, and there are so many claims filed that the courts feel, whether it be on the federal level or the state level, that judicial economy and all parties will be best served by coordinating the litigation, and thus the mass tort is born. We're fortunate here to have the resources to deal with the challenges of mass tort litigation. And anytime you're dealing with litigation on a mass level with the amount of plaintiffs and the sophisticated defendants that we're dealing with, there are millions and millions of documents that have to be reviewed simultaneously with preparing other facets of the case, not the least of which is the individual client's case. So, like I said, we're fortunate enough to have the resources here to deal with that, not only in manpower, but the technology to deal with it. And our staff is just so dedicated that even being told at 4 or 5 in the afternoon that we have a project that's going to last most of the night, they all jump in and get involved and allow us to get our job done, so that we never ever fall behind, which is just fantastic. They're dedicated. I'm fortunate to work with these people, and that night actually turned into quite a successful one.
Hannah, I think I got it. I think I got it.
No way.
I think so.
We found exactly what we needed as quickly as we possibly could have, and we're ready to hit the ground running the next morning.
Being on the steering committee is a huge responsibility. It's a huge undertaking, but it gives you a ground level view of the litigation as well as a bird's eye view of the litigation. It gives you a perspective that if you're not on the steering committee, you do not have, and frankly, you cannot have. So in terms of clients out there, I think it certainly benefits them to have a lawyer who is actively engaged in the litigation as opposed to someone who simply files their case and really needs to wait on activity in the MDL before they can do anything to help their client get justice. Being on the steering committee means you're the guy, you're in that group of plaintiffs' lawyers that is pushing the case forward, that is pushing litigation forward, and that is forcing the defendants to either try their case or resolve the case. And that's a select group of people, it really is. There are so many people who think that they can pick up the phone, call the insurance company, and simply resolve their case on their own, and they can. They can do that, and people often do that, but there have been a good number of studies that show people who do that without a lawyer invariably collect less than they would otherwise collect with a lawyer. And I can tell you that in my own personal experience, I have had clients who tried to go that route initially, got frustrated by the fact that the insurance company was not coming close to what they thought was fair, had given them an offer, and within months of them having retained us, the offer went up significantly. And even when one accounts for the fee, they ended up recovering a great deal more than they would ever have otherwise recovered from the insurance company. So I understand the mindset that says, oh, the person from the insurance company is being so nice, and they've been really helpful, and they really do seem to care. The thing I need to remind people of constantly is insurance companies are in the business of collecting premiums. They are not in the business of paying claims. They don't pay claims because they like to. They pay claims because they have to. And if you don't have someone who's going to make them pay that claim, they're never going to pay the amount that they need to pay. They just aren't.
We're involved in doing alien tort cases, which basically provides an opportunity for people from other countries to bring lawsuits in this country if they've been injured by an American citizen or corporation. Right now, the systems of justice in other countries probably wouldn't give people a fair day in court, and since we have a jury system in this country that we've worked so hard to protect, that's now available and always has been available to foreign nationals if an American has come to their country and hurt them. There's a town in Peru called La Roya, and in La Roya there's a company called Doe Run, which is a company from the United States, which is from St. Louis. And they have what could be the largest lead smelting operation in the world. The problem in La Roya is that it's 14,000 feet high in the mountains, and it's in a valley. And so as a result of being in a valley with thin air, anything that happens up there gets trapped in the mountains. And Doe Run has been dumping 2 million pounds of waste out of their smokestack on this city a day. That's 2 million pounds of lead and lead byproducts that are raining down on the city every single day. Now, kids in tenement apartments who eat paint chips and eat lead paint chips, those kids we're very worried about because they have brain damage and they have learning disabilities and things of that sort. Those kids measure around 10 to 12, some of them 13. It's called micrograms per deciliter, but the important thing is the number. So in this country, 10 to 12 is a profoundly injured child. The average number in La Roya is 32, and we have kids who measure in the 70s. We don't know for sure what the IQ testing is going to show, because we're about to start doing that right now. But I'm expecting to see IQ numbers in the 70s as an average. I don't think we're going to find a single child in that country who hits 100, which is the norm. 100 is what we look for in this country as being a normal child. I don't think we're going to find one.
My name is Gary Falkowitz. I'm a mass torts attorney here at Parker Wakeman Alonso. I work in situations where we represent a mass amount of plaintiffs in cases in which these plaintiffs have been injured by whether it's a pharmaceutical company and their drug or a medical device. Usually it's in the pharmaceutical industry, but we do represent mass plaintiffs, which is why it's mass torts. We're here for two reasons: prevention and rehabilitation. We're here to prevent these pharmaceutical companies from doing something like this again. Okay, we're here to let them know you can't get away with it. And we're also here to rehabilitate our clients. We cannot undo what was done. We cannot take away any of the pain that may have been suffered. What we can do is try to get them through that as easily as possible. We can try to get them to the next level of their life, the next chapter of their life, with the understanding that we can do this, that we got over it, that's history. And how do you do that? You have to do it by money. We got to get them money.
The single most important thing that you want to do is speak to a lawyer. Whether you go out and hire a lawyer, whether you retain a lawyer, that's a separate issue. You need to speak to a lawyer, because when you're injured in an accident, when you're hurt, there are so many things swirling through your mind in terms of how am I going to get better, What am I going to do if I can't go back to work? What about the bills? How am I going to feed my family? You need to take some time, speak to a lawyer, and figure out what your options are. And I can't tell you how often people don't do that early on, and they suffer as a result of that. People are confused early on. They don't know what to do. You need to go and speak to a lawyer. And the most important thing when you do speak to a lawyer, speak to someone that you know is going to be competent and is equipped to handle your case.
I'm one of the managing attorneys here and managing attorney of the new case department. What that means basically is that I'm responsible for the screening of the cases that come into the office. And we get cases from a lot of different ways here, mainly from TV commercials and from the internet that we have websites. And when people call our office, we screen them and we listen to their stories. These clients have, prospective clients have many things they want to tell us about what happened to them, and we sit there on the phone or in person and listen to their stories. And then we decide how we're going to proceed with their case. There are two main reasons why you should call our firm. Number one, we prepare every case as if it's going to trial. Most cases do in fact settle, but we prepare as if they're going to trial, and that's why we're able to get the best results for our clients. Number two, we give the personal attention that the clients deserve. Our lawyers speak to our clients here, return phone calls, fill in the client as to how their case is progressing, and I think those things are why you should call our office and seek our help.
You need to be your own advocate, and if you've been injured and you think you may have a legal claim as a result of those injuries, you should contact a lawyer and find out what legal remedies you may have available to you. I know that anybody that calls this firm will get immediate attention, and we'll do everything we can to help you, because after all, that's our job. I mean, we're here to help you.
This firm, Parker Wakeman Alonso, is, I think, very different than most other personal injury law firms. We take our clients' cases extremely seriously. We really do work day and night, weekends, nonstop for the client. We're obsessed in making sure that the client is not only victorious, but is also satisfied with the quality of the work that we're doing. We don't try to save any money when we prosecute the cases. We're extremely aggressive. We spend whatever is necessary to make sure that we're successful, and we take no shortcuts. And the proof is really in the pudding. If you look at the track record that we have, if you look at the cases that we've won, if you look at the amounts that our clients have received versus other clients with very, very similar cases, our record stands out from all the others. And a lot of times, our cases are involved in mass torts, where every firm is negotiating their own settlements. If you look at cases involving the same subject matter, whether it be a drug or a medical device, and if you look at the injuries, you'll see that the numbers that we're getting are substantially better than other firms with similar types of cases. When I got out of law school, I had a choice. I mean, I can go in and defend the people that I was prosecuting, or I could do something else. And I really couldn't defend these people because I just had a problem with it. And I understand that everybody's entitled to a defense. I just couldn't do it. It wasn't me. So I felt that representing injured people in a personal injury case was something that was compassionate. I was working with real human beings, and I thought it was something important to do. Hey, sure. Thanks. Thank you. So I just felt that it was the right thing to do. My father-in-law was already in that practice, and so it was a natural progression.
All of us, I think, believe. Lawyers are believers, and personal injury lawyers are definitely believers. We see the effects of modern society on people. We see them injured, we see them maimed. We can't heal them. That's not our job. But we can heal them financially. We can heal their families. We can make it easier for them to live. We can give them what they need to make a success of themselves, notwithstanding their injuries. I used to lecture in college about what it was like to be a lawyer, and I always compared it to a movie. And the movie was Young Abe Lincoln with Henry Fonda. But if you recall the plot of Young Abe Lincoln, there's a family who goes to the state fair. There were two sons who were accused of killing somebody, and the family is at its absolute wit's end. They don't know what to do, and we have a close-up of the poor mother sitting there. Both her sons have been charged with murder. And she looks down at these big feet, And then she looks up and she sees young Abe Lincoln standing there, and she says, "Who are you?" And he says to her, "Why, ma'am, I'm your lawyer." And at that point in her life, you see the weight of her problem lift off her shoulders. To me, that's always been what being a lawyer is about. And one of the nice things is that here at Parker Wakeman Alonso, we have the resources and we have the ability to make that happen. And we do it every day. These people you've spoken to, they do it every day. They make the world a little bit of a better place. It sounds hokey, but it's true.